the central part of the story is how humans are impacting the world and how we can bring nature to the forefront.
And wanted to have a sense of a seed going on a journey, and we wanted it to have a kind of awareness of our impact on the world, so bringing in rubbish and trash and having a bit of a fight for life. So it's about us introducing the community both to dance as an art form and also to those woodland venues. And also just a general kind of encouragement of engaging with nature and with the artistic things that are going on in their community. And it's really important to us that they have a engagement to a point where they really want to be active after that.
And it was a duet originally, so we worked together in the studio creating some ideas about why nature's important, and formed this duet which we took to a few venues.
And we're both quite skilled in terms of working in community dance. We've been working in it separately and together for quite a few years. And so we knew that the duet wanted to develop into a community dance.
So 2 years ago in 2017, that was 11 dances, and it was brilliant. It kind of exceeded all of our expectations. So we decided to take it even further, see how many more people we could engage with, and also not just Little Blaken and Woodland Gardens, but other venues that we could work with. And yeah, you've got beautiful woodlands on your doorstep, why not engage with it?
Well, I was really excited to be asked to be involved with the Seedling project by Anna and Karen right at the very beginning, because it was a chance to create some new music, to be involved in a very organic process where the music and the dance was devised alongside one another, and the setting was very exciting. The thought of an outdoor piece that really fits in with the environment in which it's performed, and also the issues which I think are really important today, if not more important today than they were when we first began the project a couple of years ago. Using the arts and creativity in this way is a brilliant way to educate children and also to make them aware of what's going on in the world around them.
I have been coming in throughout the process to support Karen and Anna with a kind of outside eye. So I'm one of 2 associate directors of Gecko, and I'm based in Ipswich. So I've been supporting them with kind of performance skills, dipping in and out, a little bit of looking at the structure of the piece as a whole and the storytelling within it. But then really I've run a couple of workshops for the cast of how to use their breath, how to really amplify the brilliant work that they've been doing.
I think it was about 2 seeds growing, and then like people respecting the seeds.
Yeah, there's a few political connotations with the use of plastic, so there's plastic bottles being used through it, so, and suggestion of environments where a seed wouldn't be able to grow and wouldn't be able to flourish throughout the dance. So more simply, because it's a family show as well, so more simply about just the environments of seeds and how they grow, and plants and life in nature as well, especially because it's a site-specific work, so it's really relating to its surroundings in the woodlands.
This topic of the environment and humans having to look after the environment, it puts us in the story. With the bit where there's loads of rubbish everywhere, that's a visual of this is what's happening. Kind of that shock factor is more portrayed.
I think that what was with like young children. We have quite a few very young children coming and watching, and I think that will hopefully sticks in their head.
Yeah, and getting rid of plastic is such a hot topic at the moment. That actually is, even though it's something they looked at 2 years ago, it's sort of something that's came really into the spotlight recently. Yeah, so the piece has become more relevant.
And I think it has like a personal and a universal element to it. Because I know for me personally, I've been on a journey recently to try and get plastic out of my life and use more natural products. So it's really lovely to be involved in a project that is all about that, and to be immersed in it, and to remind myself why I'm doing that, and to come into this beautiful environment.
Yeah, and I think having Amy and Lizzie as dancing as the seeds rather than having actual seeds, it makes more of a personal connection for the audience, that they feel like they have to look after them, and then like you can see the look on their face when they're underneath the plastic.
gives a really human element.
Yeah, so it makes them more aware that actually it's not just a seed, it's not just grass, it is living as well.
But mostly I think like people do care because like it's sort of their future as well from our age, so like you kind of want to get involved. Yeah.
So a really important element of it was where we performed it. And we were given a woodlands by Marsh Blakeham, and so we tailored the piece, developed it from the duet into this woodlands.
We want to find spaces that are really inspiring and empowering and bring different elements to the piece, so for the performers and the audience and for us artistically.
And one of the things that's always been really important to both of us is that the audience is active in some way, and engaged and interacted with.
It's within the environments local to here, so they're inviting local participants to join in, and they're taking them to local areas, introducing them to the nature there and the environments they may not have investigated before. So already they're connecting the area with the people and then telling a story about nature.
I love it actually. I think the more you can take dance out of the black box, which is a brilliant place to dance, I don't want to stop doing that, but the more you can take it out, and so people kind of encounter it a bit more rather than feeling that they're making that kind of investment of time and presence, but that it's just part of everyday life, and it is an amazing space, and I probably wouldn't have found it if it hadn't been for doing the piece there. So I think the idea is really lovely. It's totally appropriate for a woodland setting. The story is about a seedling, and that gives you lots of opportunity to work with other people, to do different kinds of movement, but it all feels quite organic. I think it's good that this time we're doing 2 different settings, and it would be quite nice to find another one.
Yeah, each venue adds a slightly different feeling to the performance. I think it kind of alters the message slightly depending on where we are. Yeah, it's really nice actually performing in two different places.
Yeah, because initially I thought that I would prefer Little Blakeham because I've been to Little Blakeham, I had never been here before. But actually when we came over here last weekend and started doing rehearsals, it became quite clear how well it was going to work here.
Yeah, but it's like quite nice because you like reach up to the sky and you can see all the nature around. Yeah.
So I think the partnership with Suffolk Wildlife Trust has been really important part of it as well. You know, bringing in some of their learning, part of their wild project to encourage children to connect with their natural environment. I think it's fantastic. Some of the ways of generating material have been really interesting, you know, that are accessible but actually lead to something that's very powerful, but that also can easily slot into different environments.
We were fed a lot of sort of information by both Karen and Anna about sort of the imagery and the feeling behind sort of the intention behind the movement that we were doing. So we have a section in the project that we do called the landscape section, and we drew up a whole storyboard of what our versions of the seed would have gone through, and so I think I had something like going deeper and deeper into nature's basement.
But we've done some really nice partner work, and we just sort of have been able to really fit together in the short space of time that we've had, which has been really nice, really nice.
I used to dance with Anna and Karen, so I know them, and I'd seen it advertised, and Joshua's done some dancing as well, so we thought, why not dance together? We've just started rehearsing our first bit together. We're in a lot of separate groups. I think we did that on purpose, to get to know the other dancers. So we're now doing a little piece together, a little duet.
As a composer, I've always been interested in working with different types of art forms, and the way that the Seedling uses dance and movement and the setting and also music is very integrated, and I think it draws the audience into the story, and also by asking them to actually hold props and use them as musical instruments, it brings home the messages even stronger.
Being able to explore these sensory things, like we played with feathers and things this morning, and it's just great that he can be part of interacting with people in ways that you can't normally, so it's really great. Build those things up when So it's great. So hopefully we'll be able to take part in other things as well, that it all builds on the sort of skill set. So
I always get
Something
this
about the
wave
finale.
of joy wash over me when I'm doing that final part, because it's like we've been on this journey and now we're here we're all together.
It's good, it's fun. Yeah, my mum doesn't do much dance, so it's been quite a good experience for us both. I think mine's industrial. I really like the sharp movements and everything. Yeah, I'd have to say so. It's good that one.
Certainly, I think by the time we get to the performance, we'll all have got to know each other very well. We won't want it to end.
One of the most successful parts, I think, of this whole project has been the quality of the engagement with the community cast. I think to have that many people, to have such a diverse range of people in terms of ages, in terms of their experience. There's people there who've never danced before. There's people who have had a lifetime of dance and are coming back to it. And I can see in them, and I know from talking to them, that they've had a really powerful journey. They've been cared for, they've been supported. They've made this performance, but they've really been able to bring their own individuality into each session. The sessions have been really well facilitated, really well structured, and they feel really part of something. They feel a connection to these places in their community. They feel connected to each other. I think that's been a really powerful part of it.
And our cast is a really great example of that. We've got people that are 10 years of age all the way up to late 70s. So it's saying anyone can dance. We've got people that have never danced before, and some people that engage quite regularly with their dance activity in Suffolk. So it's giving people the opportunity to join a cast like that. And
one of the lovely things about this project is every time that we have done the performances, even the most recent one, we have people saying to us, I'd really like to be part of this next time. So we almost got our new cast on board already for the next few years, because they are the previous audiences. So it's lovely, and that's a real legacy for us to be able to grab hold of and continue with. So the next step is us looking at touring it, so finding new casts.
I think there will be a legacy. I think not only for the dancers and ourselves, but I think also for the people that will watch. I think that it will be, because it's such a, even watching the rehearsals, there's a real emotion behind just a mass movement of people, and I think having that framed in this natural environment, and then obviously having all the tactile and the bottles and the sound, I think it will be such an immersive experience, so you won't help but come away moved.
As an audience, when you are walking through the wood and being taken through this story with beautiful spaces, with nature all around you, you can't help but feel part of the world and the landscape that you're in, and you do feel as if you're going on the journey of the seed, and you are up against all the same challenges.
I suppose it's a sensory experience, and that will play into their experience of the whole journey.
And then it's something that children really respond really well to, this really lovely story that they can understand and transcends language. Because it's a promenade performance, so they're also going on the journey as well, which makes it immersive without having to be asking the audience to join in.
I think it's giving the audience enough so they go, I understand what's going on here, but not so much that it's so simplistic that there's no kind of game. That anything that's good requires that game, I think. It requires some sort of uncovering yourself, that you make a kind of profound leap into what this could mean, what this could be about.
We really want to engage with more people in the community, more woodland venues, and so the Seedling dance story at the moment is in two separate branches. So the first one is the community cast, and then the second one is primary schools. So we want to be able to take that to new schools, maybe schools that live in an urban built-up area that maybe don't have access to woodlands, and then also communities that have the woodlands on their doorstep but maybe don't know about it, don't know how they can get involved.
And it's the next step into our artistic engagement and touring, and potentially this piece touring in other locations across Suffolk over the next few years.
Anna and Karen are absolutely brilliant, and their process that they use is really innovative, I think, and it takes community dance and community performance really into another realm. And Anna and Karen work with who they have and they make the most of all the different talents and qualities that they have within that group, which is a really amazing thing to achieve.
I think great. They're really lovely. They're very caring, which is lovely. They're very good humours, so even if we go totally doolally and get everything all wrong, they still find that quite interesting and amusing, and they're very good about it. And they're very clear as well. I think they've thought it through. They know what they're going to do, so they come very well prepared to the rehearsals, which gives you more confidence as a participant. So, yeah.
They're both so generous with the information that they give and sort of what they want from you, and they're so encouraging and enthusiastic about your own take on what you're doing.
This is the theme, this is how we want you to explore it. And then as we're doing it, they give us further instructions based on what they're seeing, and then it's developing and it's growing, and they're doing that all together. So I know that whatever we create independently in our own energies or our own way that we move, they're responding to what's being put into the room, so you know that your contribution is valued to the overall project because they're developing with it as well.
I thought the space that it was in was really beautiful, and the way it moved through several different landscapes was really interesting, and there were lots of different levels and lots of different textures. You really felt the challenges that they went through, particularly the plastic bit. I thought that was really powerful.
I really liked how the audience were invited on this journey of the seeds, and you were able to see them develop through the piece, and how they really encouraged the audience to join them in on that. It was amazing to be outdoors and to be so closely connected to the space that it's in as well. If you're in a theatre, you don't always get that. There's always that wall, but to be able to break that down was fantastic. Because everyone's around and the audience are able to, it's like a 360 view, and they're able to see the seeds being born.
And also it became more than dance. It was thoughtful, and the messages behind it within the environmental aspects and things like that. It was just special and beautiful, I thought.
A beautiful sort of naturally immersive piece of work, which was one of the calmest pieces of work that I've ever seen. So grounded and generous.
I just thought it was amazing. What I've just seen is one of the most, I think it's really powerful, and the timing for it is amazing. To be having that conversation around plastic and what we do with it, and to see it en masse in the middle of the woods, it was really powerful. And to see human beings coming out of plastic, an amazing moment. What a beautiful gift. My favourite bit was probably being pulled out, whether I needed the support. The plastic being down there, and this line of people just helping us up out of the plasticness. Just felt very powerful. Yeah.
Just such an imaginative performance of something that we just take for granted. It happens.
And I can't tell you just how wonderful it was to be here to experience the magic of the dancing, the environment, and just the joy of living things.
When there was a bit where they took us through the forest, and we had some dancing to do, and we felt like we were seeing, and it was quite fun.
I don't know, I just think it was really good fun. I think it was about nature, plastic, and having fun. I like it that bit.
Yeah?
Me too.
What did you become when you were in the field? You became beans, did you?